Hi, class. Give me 1 second to just set everything up and we'll start in about 5 minutes. We're going to give everyone a chance to come in. We'll do a little check-in and then we'll get right ahead.
You are muted now. Tap to unmute. Um,
Hi, sorry. I give everyone access to their microphones because I like to have an interactive class so we can talk. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to you guys. I will ask if you're not speaking or being spoken to just keep your mic silenced. That way we don't have that much interference. I also wanted to apologize to you guys because I'm not in my usual setup. We had some scheduling issues and I'm actually on set right now. There's some equipment currently working on a film and they're setting up for the next shot right there while I teach this class in the stairwell. So yeah, thank you guys for working with me and for being patient. We might have to end class like 5 minutes early in case they need me to go into frame lighting. But yeah, let's get class started today. Today we're gonna be working on scene study, which is gonna be so fun. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. And I see some familiar faces. So thank you guys for coming back to class. Now, for the people that I don't know, I just want you guys to let me know how much acting experience you have. If I'm going to be honest, I've had a lot of students, so I'm sorry if I don't remember everyone by name. So I will ask people to just go one at a time, unmute yourselves. If you haven't met me yet, introduce yourself, say your name and how much experience you have.
Hi, Maria.
Hey,
My
Sharon.
name is Sharon. I'm from Manhattan. And last year I had 16 projects.
Yes, I remember you, Sharon. I remember you from last
Right.
class. See you again.
For you too. Break a leg today.
Thank you so much. We've been shooting for the last like week and we have a few more days left, but we're almost done. All right, but let's see. Who is new to class? And if you are, say hi.
I don't remember. Maybe I have attended class last week. But my name is Diane, and I am from Sacramento, California. And I've taken acting class at Academy of Arts University in San Francisco. And my acting coach was Peter Lewis.
Oh yeah, I remember you, Diane. It's good to see you.
Yes.
Good to
Hi,
see
everybody.
you. All right. I saw Natasha. You're new to class. How are you?
Yes, I am. I am good. I actually missed the last one because of I'm in Central. So it says the other time whenever I was looking and I missed it. I was like, no. I did hop in the end of the class though as you were leaving.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad we have some time together still, and I'm happy you made it to this class. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Javion, did I say that right?
Oh, smart. Hey, how you doing? It's Javion.
Hey,
But people do call me Javion too. That's what's crazy. People call me both.
okay.
But no, so yeah, I literally just started acting last year in 2024 of January. I got my first gig in 2023 though, but I didn't start seriously until 2024, and then I got my first lead role in May on TV1 for this TV show called For My Man. So since then I've been doing that, and I've been doing a lot of improv and stand-up as well. So I'm really just an all-around entertainer, but I mean, acting is definitely my passion. So yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you in class.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Anyone else who's new? Calvin, I think you're new. Calvin does not want to unmute himself and say hi. And that's okay. You know why? Because you do not have to speak if you're not comfortable doing so. If anyone else is new to the class and would like to introduce themselves, now is a great time to do so. If not, we'll get
started.
Hi
there.
Oh,
go ahead. No, please.
Sorry.
Who's that?
Was he gonna go?
I think you can go, Stephanie. You're good.
Okay. So I've never had your class before, but I've been with 99 for a while, and I have not had any actual work in the field,
You know,
but
at all.
hoping.
Yeah, of course. Well, hopefully with my class, you'll feel a little bit more prepared to go out there. And if there's anything that I can help with, please feel more than free to reach out to me. I'm gonna give my socials at the end of class. And if you guys have any self-tapes or anything you need help with, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you guys with one-on-ones like self-tape stuff, or if you have a scene you want to break down, you want me to help you break it down, feel free to reach out to me. I love acting. I love teaching it. I do this all day, every day. So feel free to reach out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna need that help.
Of course, absolutely. No problem at all. And Alan, you're new as well. Do you want to say hi?
Hi everybody. Hello. I am Alan from Miami. I am pretty new to any form of acting. Look forward to learning anything I can. I've done any form of entertainment in the past has been more musical, like singing, guitar, piano, things like that in different locations and areas. But yeah, looking forward to learning and thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And what part of Miami are you from? I'm from Miami.
Oh, I'm like deep south, like towards Kendall, but I go
Oh,
back and forth towards like Miami Beach and all over the place down here.
nice, nice. I'm from Brooklyn, Miramar. Miramar's a little bit more north.
Oh, oh yeah, no, I used to live up there, but it's a good couple hour and a half to visit family up there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But also, by the way, because you mentioned, you do music and stuff like that, you guys, a very, very important thing about being an actor is understanding that you are literally clay. So being clay, the more things that you are able to mold yourself to, the better. So if you have an instrument, you can play music, you can do something, you have a certain hobby, certain dances, you can drive a motorcycle, literally anything you can that is considered a skill, put that on your resume. Because for example, I play the electric guitar, I also make rock music. And for this film that I'm working on, I ended up being a rock star for it. And I had to learn 3 songs for it. And I had to perform with my guitar and everything. And a lot of times, directors, yes, they're looking for strong actors, but they're also looking for actors who are real people with hobbies and can, be like, yeah, I play in this, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that, So never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day that you die. So keep teaching yourself as many hobbies, as many skills as possible, because the more you have in your bank, the more of a shot you're giving yourself.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see. Janet, are you new to class? And if you feel
Yes,
comfortable, please
yes,
introduce
I'm new. I don't have a problem speaking. I'm from New York, so that's where I'm based.
Awesome. How much experience do you have?
Excuse me?
How much acting experience do you have?
I mostly did like community acting or community performing, rather. It entails a little bit of hosting and performance with singing, mostly vocals.
Awesome.
And as usual, you do like church plays, school plays, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, I'm very happy to have you in class, Janet. It's nice to meet you.
Mhm.
Monica, you're new as well?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how much experience you have.
I'm from New Brunswick, Canada. I've mostly done local photo shoots, but I also have been in a couple local shows, French actually, but just as an extra.
Nice. Hey, look, extra work is important. Extra work really is important because the thing about acting, and it's really sad to say, but it's what I've learned is the truth. I've been living in New York for 5 years. I have my bachelor's in acting. So I've got to see a lot of different paths that people take in this career and in this industry to try to make it work. And what I've learned is honestly a lot, but I'm trying to see if I even want to talk about this right now, if I want to save this for the end of class and go into all that stuff. I'll probably save it for the end of class. But before I get into that, I wanted to ask you guys first, do you guys, because if you were here in my last class, you know that I did this at the end of class, I kind of leave about 10 minutes of space for you guys to ask me open-ended questions about the industry, about agents, about managers, about what people are looking for, castings, things like that. So do you guys want to do that now? Like have the little open-ended right now, or do you want to do that at the end of class like last time? What do you guys think?
In the class.
Okay,
Yeah, in the class. Mhm.
fabulous. Just want to make sure, we're all doing stuff that we're on the same page on. But okay, so I want to talk today about, like I said, scene study and breaking down scripts. Are you guys familiar with beats, actions, and objectives?
No.
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 Beats is the transition in the scene.
Incredible job, Stephanie. Yes, that is what a beat is. So when we're breaking down scripts, there's very important key terms that we have to learn. And we're going to put these all into practice. But first, I'm just going to go over a quick PowerPoint, and then we're going to go over some scenes, and I'm going to have you guys read, and we're going to try to block out all these different moments. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okie dokie. All right. So if you weren't here for last class, the way that I typically do this is I like classes to be interactive. I think if a teacher is just lecturing all the time, it's really easy for the students to lose focus and get bored. So I'm going to make you guys read to keep your attention. Who would like to read the first PowerPoint slide?
I will.
Okay, it's not letting me see everyone at once, so I will call on everyone. Just be a little patient with me. Who said they wanted to read? Diane, and who else?
I did.
Okay, cool. So you can read the first slide, and then Diane, do you want to read the second slide? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Anyways, we'll just get started. Can you read the first slide for me, please?
Who are you asking? Are you asking me?
Yes, you, Sharon. Sorry.
Oh, okay. The actor's blueprint, essential elements of scene study. Welcome to the foundational approach that transforms good performances into unforgettable ones. Scene study isn't just about memorizing lines, it's about discovering the hidden architecture that supports authentic, compelling acting.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Diane, would you like to read the slide for me? Oh, I think Diane's computer died. Okay, I'll read this one. Move this out of the way. Understanding objectives, what your character wants. Every character in every scene wants something. This driving force, the objective, is the engine of all dramatic action. Strong objectives are specific and actionable, directed towards another character, possible to achieve within the scene, compelling enough to create urgency. So what does this mean? Now, let me open this up again. There we are. What is an objective? Basically, an objective is what you're trying to do. It's the character's goal in the scene. And when we think about objectives, there's two things in a script and in a scene. There is the super objective and there is the objective. The super objective is what the character wants throughout the film. It's the big, big thing that their goal is. You know what I mean? And now the objective is in every scene. Every scene has an objective. Not every scene has a super objective. The super objective belongs to the entire thing, to the grand scope of things. But every scene will have a separate objective because, as we go through life, every single task that we do it with something expected in return, So we're going to go through a scene right now real quick. And I'll have you guys read.
I can read something as well if you'd like.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. Just give me a quick second because, like I said, currently on set, so I'm moving around while I'm teaching, which is so silly. I'm sorry about that, you guys, but
I like the scene changes. It's nice. It adds an element there.
Thank you so much. No, you should see the room that we're filming in. It's full of lights and equipment, and oh my gosh, rigging up this crazy lighting thing right now. But let's find this scene for you guys. Where is it? Should be right here. All right, y'all. We're gonna read through this scene first real quick. Who wants to be Sarah? Natasha. Natasha, you'll be Sarah. And also, whenever I call on people, please raise your hand for me, because whenever I'm sharing the screen, I can't see everyone's like profile on Zoom, but I do get a notification whenever someone raises their hand. So who wants to be Ben? Alan, you want to be Ben?
Sure.
Fabulous. I'm going to read the stage direction. Interior dining room later that night. Ben and Sarah sitting opposite to each other. He has a bowl of rice, which he is pretending to eat in between sips of vodka. She has a bowl of vegetables and rice. She sits silently for a while and then puts down her chopsticks.
You're pretty sick.
Ben looks away.
What are you going to do?
She folds her arms.
I want you to go see a doctor.
He thinks for a while and then turns to meet her gaze. They look right into each other's eyes.
Sarah, I'm not going to see a doctor.
Sarah continues to look at him almost defiantly.
Maybe it's time I move to a hotel.
And do what? Right away in a room?
Will you
We're
lighten up, please?
1 second, Sarah, you can finish your line.
Sorry. Oh, that was my fault.
We're not going to talk about that. Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck you. I will not talk about that. You're staying here. You are not moving to a hotel.
Will you lighten up, please?
One thing. This is one thing you can do for me. I've given you gallons of free will here. You can do this for me.
She leans forward.
Let's face it. Sick as you are, I'm probably the only thing that's keeping you alive.
She stands up.
I have to go to work now.
Ben doesn't say anything. He just stares at a hole in his bowl of rice. All right, y'all. So when we're looking at this scene, and not Natasha, I'm gonna ask you this question specifically because you're the one who read Sarah. What do you feel is Sarah's objective in this scene? What does she want?
It almost seems like she's trying to help him. Like she's recommending things to go help.
Mhm.
So
But
she's
more
almost,
specifically, because when we're talking about objectives and super objectives and all that stuff, or just acting in general, the more specific we are, the more drive we have in our performance, and the more specific we can be in our performance as actors. So, what specifically does Sarah want from Ben? I'll give you a hint. It's on the first page of the script.
she wants for him to go see a doctor.
Bingo. Exactly. And now, Ben, what's your objective? What do you want from Sarah, or what do you want Sarah to do?
Honestly, I feel like I'm in denial a little bit. Like I just want her to leave me alone so that I can just continue moving on and doing what I want to do or eating.
Yeah. So your objective, when we're talking about objective, we never want it to be internalized. So objectives can always be one sentence. And objectives are always in regards to the other character, what you want from the other character, right? So in this case, Sarah's objectives, she wants Ben to go to a doctor. Ben wants Sarah to
Lighten up.
close.
Leave him alone.
Bingo. Exactly. Exactly. Ben wants her to just shut up and leave her alone. I mean, leave him alone. So that's an objective. And now that's only one scene. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what this movie is. This is just, I have a bunch of separate scenes from my time in acting school that our teachers gave us, and I'm going to be using those. But let's say that this film is about a brother and a sister who, I don't know, we're going to make it tragic, a drama, because I'm currently working on a dramatic set. A brother and sister whose parents die, and now they have to try to find their own house and start their life. The super objective of the movie is them wanting to move out and start their new life. But the objective in the scene is what we just went over. So are you guys able to now tell the difference a little clearer on super objective versus objective? Objective is for scenes, super objective is the main thing.
I think so. I think I have a decent understanding of
Cool.
that
And if you guys
specific.
have questions, please ask away. Okay, cool. One last thing about objectives and super objectives. Even though the super objective is a general thing that is carried out throughout the whole film, in every scene, you don't want to forget that. You want to remember what your super objective is, because even though the super objective isn't going to be the main driving force in the scene itself, the objective of the scene will be the driving force because that's what the scene is about. You don't want to forget the super objective. The super objective is something that you carry with yourself the whole time. So when you're thinking about like, what is the point of this scene? The point of the scene, 90% of the time, 90% of it is going to be the objective. The 10% of it is going to be the super objective. But the key point is that we don't forget about it, because the super objective is always going to help us. Why? Because it's another detail. It's another specificity. The more specific we are about our character situations, their lives, their goals, their ambitions, the more we understand them, the easier it is for us to unzip the back of their heads and their bodies, hop into it, and zip that back up and be them. It's a kind of morbid example, but that's kind of how I view it. With characters, I'm like, I like to do a little exercise before I like get into a character, and a lot of it is just sitting down and closing my eyes, because also in this class I also want to talk about using your imagination when it comes to creating your characters. But what I like to do is I like to sit down and I like to close my eyes, and I like to think about the character that I'm about to play, and I like to view them right in front of me. And once I see them, I see their expressions, what their eyes look like, what that tells me, how do they carry their body, all that stuff. And then once I feel comfortable, once I've sat with them, I go up to them, I pretend like I unzip them, and I step in. And then I keep my eyes closed, and I like to walk around in a circle, and I like to envision what is it like to move in this person's body? Do they move slower? Are their feet more heavy? Are their shoulders more heavy? Do they have a pain in their neck because of this character's an athlete and maybe they had a neck injury? And even if that's not in the script, it doesn't matter, because an actor's job is to play. It's to use your imagination and create these details, fill in the blanks that the writers don't always fit. Because if I'm going to be honest with you, once you're working on this stuff, yes, the writers will give you the details and the directors will give you the details. But once you like come to set and you show up to set, they expect you to have everything done on your end. They expect you to know how to do your job. The director will barely give you notes. They'll give you maybe 1 or 2 lines, because you as an actor should know how to do these things, you know? So that's what we train for. And that's why it's so important that we learn how to be specific and how to use our imaginations, because no one is going to spoon feed anything to us when it comes to figuring out who the character is. Because at the end of the day, like, it's you versus the world. And if you can't figure out who that character is, there is someone else who will. And that's the scary part. But at the same time, it's the challenging thing, and it's what's exciting, and it's what should motivate you to really be on the ball. But okay, so that's a little bit about that. Back to our little PowerPoint, which is right here. Oh, where is it? Actually, you know what? Let's go through this page. I feel like this page is going to be very helpful for you guys. And if you guys want me to send you this page, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Or if you want me to send you any of these PowerPoints and stuff like that, DM me on Instagram, and I'm more than happy to forward the information to you guys. All right, so we're going to be talking a little bit about Stanislavski and the 7 steps, better understanding, 7 questions. So whenever we're working on a scene, we like to ask ourselves 7 questions about about the character, essentially. Now, this specific teacher, Paul Warner, that you see at the very top here, that was one of my acting coaches back in college. And I hated his class so much because he made us do the craziest thing you can imagine. He would give us a scene, and he made us write a 25-page paper on who that character is, their political beliefs, their religious beliefs, their childhood, their traumas, their excitements, what scares them, what their first love, literally everything. We had to write all of it and be specific. And then we had to get the script, and we had to make an entire chart, and we had to get every line, and we had to say, what's the physical action of this line? What's the psychological action? What's the objective of this line? And you know what? It was a pain in the ass to do that. Such a pain in the ass. And I would always ask myself, why am I doing all this? This is so unnecessary in the real world, because if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm teaching you guys a lot of technique. But if I'm going to be honest, whenever I have a script and it's time for me to do stuff, half of the stuff goes out the window. And you're probably wondering, why? Isn't this how you do it, right? Yes. But you know what? The more that you practice this, the more that you get it in your bones, and the more that you religiously drill that into your head, the more second nature it becomes. So did I hate that class because it was so much work and they always made me be so specific all the time? Yeah, it was really annoying. But that class made me such like, that class is what brought my acting from a 5 to a 10, because having to do all of those details all the time so meticulously and drilling it into my brain so hard, there came a point where I didn't even have to write those papers anymore. I just read the script, I read the character, and I was already able to answer all those questions. And I knew the questions I had to ask myself to create a realistic feeling for this character. So these 7 questions that we're about to go over are good questions that I want you guys to ask yourselves every single time you get a script, every single time you get a character, because they will always be applicable regardless of what the situation is, regardless of what the project is, whether it's a film, whether it's a play, whether it's a short, whether it's a feature, it doesn't matter. These 7 questions will always ring true. So there's so many different acting techniques and books and teachers that finding a process that works for you can be confusing. Ironically, most acting books and teachers use similar principles as a basis of their pedagogy. Wow, that's crazy. The way I'm a teacher and I can't even say that word. Anyways, we're all human. Stanislavski's system. This is because Konstantin Stanislavski is considered the father of modern acting, and every acting technique created in the modern era was influenced by Father Stan. For young actors, understanding of Stanislavski's 7 questions is an invaluable foundation upon which to build a character. The first question, who wants to read it? Don't forget to raise your hands. Stephanie.
Who am I? Start with the basics and then fill in the gaps with your imagination. Pick apart the script to find out what type of person your character is, what they look like, what they believe, how others describe them, and so on. Think about your character's past and the significant events, people that influenced them and made them who they are in the script.
Yep. Great. Now for where am I? Who wants to read where am I? Oh, so many people joined our class. I'm sorry, guys. I already started class and I didn't realize all you guys joined and I had to give you access to unmute your mics. My apologies. Javion, would you like to read Where Am I?
Yeah, give me 1 second. The script will usually tell you where you are, but the important thing for an actor is to consider how the character feels about the place they are in. Characters act differently in public than do in private. People move differently when they are cold versus when they are hot. Hold on. This screen kind of acting crazy. Okay, here we go. People move differently when they are cold versus when they are too hot. The space your character occupies can determine how they behave during a scene.
Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna go over those 2 first. The who am I? The who am I, honestly, that is such a big and vague question that I wouldn't even use that one to focus. Like if you're gonna go through a script, obviously use the 7 questions, but numbers 2 through 7 are going to be more useful than 1, because the who am I question is like the big umbrella question, and the other questions are going to kind of help you figure out a little bit more about that question number 1. But the who am I, it's pretty explanatory, self-explanatory. Who is your character? Where are they from? What's their name? Are they in a relationship? What school did they go to? Do they have an education? How much of an education? Things like that. Where do they work? What's their job? And the where am I? Well, the where am I is obviously very, very important, because the place that you're in is obviously going to be very, very influential in terms of your performance. And if it's not, then the performance is not going to be what you want it to be. Because interacting with your environment and reacting is the most important part of acting. Everyone thinks that the important part of acting is the dialogue, the lines, how many lines you have, how do you deliver them. Yes, all that's important, but if I'm going to be honest with you, an actor who does reactions is a much stronger actor than an actor who knows how to deliver lines. If you can deliver lines, great. That means that you can just regurgitate what someone told you, but it doesn't show you anything about your imagination and how many gaps you're able to fill in. So back to the where am I? Because sorry, this is a very, very big question. Michael, you have a question, go on. Put his hand down, I guess there's no question. But the where am I is important because, for example, for this shoot that I'm on right now, and I'm going to use this shoot in reference to a lot of examples and stuff. But on the second day of shooting, we were shooting at this really big club called $3 Bill that's in Brooklyn. And in this club and the scenes that we were doing, I had to do a very intimate scene, and it was a very intense scene. This film is very tragic. It's about a woman who was sexually assaulted and what life looks like afterwards. So for me in this character, obviously the character's feeling very, very heavy stuff happened to her. But when I'm in $3 Bill and I'm looking at the environment and I'm doing a scene, I have to remember and keep in mind when you're on set, it's always going to be super, super quiet. You can hear a pin drop. That's because the audio guy, the sound guy, they need to be able to hear everything super, super, super clearly. So when I was at this venue, the scene takes place in a concert. So I have to make sure I react to my environment, to the where am I? So even though it's super, super quiet, whenever I'm saying my lines, I have to make sure I say them like this because I'm in a concert and it's super, super loud and I have to raise my voice for them to hear me. You see what I mean? Reacting to your environment and being aware of where you are is going to influence your performance a lot because the where you are, there's a lot of levels to that. Who is around you? Is the people around you, are you comfortable around them? Because if you are, then your body language is going to be people around you, are you comfortable around them? Because if you are, then your body language is going to be comfortable. Well, my feedback, crazy. Who do I need to mute? Okay. Jose, did you raise your hand? Do you have a question?
No, I just volunteering to read number 3.
Okay, fabulous, cool. Let me finish up this thought and then we'll get right on to that. But yeah, so you guys want to make sure in your performance, you guys are very aware of where you are, who's around you, if it's very loud around you, if it's quiet, if it's hot, if it's cold, all those things, because all of those things are going to influence your performance. Performing and acting isn't about lines. It's about being realistic in your environment and selling a scene, even though it's super fake. You know, we're in supposed to be shooting a concert scene, but it's super, super quiet. Obviously it's fake, but you got to make it real. And that's the job of the actor. So number 3, Jose, you want to read it for me?
Sure, not the best reader, but bear with me.
Go right for it.
What time is it? Year, season, month, day, and time of the day should all be described. Then think about how the specific time of the play changes the character's action. If it is said in Victorian England, voice and proper etiquette will be different than San Francisco in 1960s.
You want to read 4?
Oh, number 4, sure.
Yeah.
Who do I want? This is a character's primary motivation for everything they do in a scene. All actions should be executed with the goal of getting what you want from other characters in the scene. This is also called the character's objective.
Yep. So for number 3, that also ties into the where am I, because it's basically where am I, but in time. You know, if you're doing a period piece, something that takes place in the past, you want to make sure that, you know, you act that way. You don't want to act like you're in 2000 and when you're in like the 1920s. Like, for example, the way that I act and the way that I'm dressed and the way that I look would not work for a period piece, like something taking place in like the 1920s or like the 1800s, unless they change my look. How? My hair can't be double colored because people back then didn't have hair like this. I would have to wear a wig. They would have to hide all my tattoos. I have 51 tattoos. I have a whole leg sleeve. They have to change my look. I have to change the way that I move. I normally move very like, hey, you know what I mean? I can't do that. If I'm back then, I have to move in a very certain way. It all ties together. And the what do I want objective, we went over that. 5, why do I want it? Does anyone want to read this one for me? Diane, you want to read number 5 for me? I saw you had your hand up for a while. I'm sorry. Okay, I can't hear you, Diane. So does anyone else want to read number 5?
I'll read it.
Okay. I don't know who said I'll read it, but you read it.
Why do I want it? There must be a driving force behind your objective on stage and on screen, and that is your justification. We are all having reasons for doing what we do, and characters are no different. Give your character a convincing reason for acting, and you automatically generate high stakes, which leads to tension. Should I go to the next?
Yes, please.
How will I get what I want? Use your dialogue, movements, and gestures to try to influence the other characters to give you what you want, i.e., accomplish your objective. This is also called a character's tactic. If one tactic fails, try a new one and see if that works.
Okay, and can you read number 7 for me too? Just wrap it up.
Okay. What must I overcome to get what I want? There is always something stopping you from achieving your objective. Usually, there is someone or something in the outside world impeding a character's advancement, and also some internal conflict with which they struggle. Find what it are, and fight against them with the scene. This is also called a character's obstacle. These 7 simple questions can provide hours of work for the actor to answer fully. The flip side is that an actor who puts in the time and energy will inevitably have a greater understanding of their character and their personal acting technique. Take them, learn them, and think about them. That is why Stanislavski asked them.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Janet. So let's go over these last 3. The why do I want it, how will I get it, and what's in my way? So out of all the 7 questions, numbers 4 through 7, the what do I want, why do I want it, how will I get it, and what's in my way, those things are gonna make your scene so interesting to watch. And without them, without all of those elements, the scene is honestly gonna be straight up boring. So, and also before, if you can't tell already, I know acting is a very, like teaching acting, it's very, people are very sensitive and stuff like that. I'm not too good at that. I'm on the autism spectrum. I'm going to tell you things bluntly, honestly. I'm going to tell you what works, what doesn't, and why it doesn't work. But so the what do I want? Objective, super important. If you do not have a goal in mind, then what are you doing during the scene? It's very, very important to have an objective, a goal, and to identify what it is. That way you can do the next following things. Why do I want it? The why do I want it is important because it's going to tell you how big your stakes are. And in a performance, it is so much better to have higher stakes than lower stakes, because if we don't have a lot at risk, then it's not going to be that fun, you know? The higher risk we have, the higher the stakes are, the adrenaline is up, the tension is up. That's what's going to keep people at the edge of their seats to see what's going on, you know, like the stakes are high, you know, and that's what people want. Keep your stakes high. And again, the why do I want is also very, very important, because, for example, if you ask yourself that question, it can be, oh, if I don't get this, then I'm going to lose my job. That's a crazy motivation right there. You're going to enter that scene and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to get this from this person. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my job. And that's going to build up that anxiety, that anticipation, that suspense. So understanding why you want it, super, super important. How will I get it? How will I get it is the other important question. And if you were here during my last class, then you know that we went over actions. Actions and tactics go basically hand in hand. They're essentially the same thing. Actions, to briefly go over them, it's things that actors do or things that we as people do in order to get what we want. And also things we do to other people. So for example, an action is to devastate, to disappoint. I'm actually going to pull them up right here. To spoil, to spur, to stir, to stretch, to stir, to study, to tempt, to terrify. Those are all actions. These are all verbs. These are all things that we're doing. Every single line that you do, you will have an action. Get me that right now, or I'm gonna tell mom that you didn't do your homework. What's your action? To intimidate, to threaten. Every sentence that you say has an action, whether or not you're aware of it. So just become aware of it. And think about this in your day-to-day life. That's the awesome thing about acting. And being acting, you can study it literally every day just by talking to other people and thinking about, what did I just say? How did I say it? Why did I say this? Why is it so important that I get this? Acting is just living, and you're living every day. So learn from your experience, turn up that awareness in your mind and everything. How do I get this out of the way? Move. Okay. And what must I overcome to get what I want? Having an obstacle in the scene is another super, super crucial thing that's going to make the scene super, super interesting. Because if we're watching a movie or a TV show and we're seeing a character go through all of this stuff in order to get what they want and stuff, if they get it super easily, then the movie's going to be over really, really fast. Or if they just get it super easily, it's just handed to them. Well, that's boring. Where's the adventure? Where's the challenge? Where are the layers, the levels? Having an obstacle is super, super important. And the amazing thing about being an actor is that objectives and obstacles are two things that will forever be handed to you. Those are two things that will always be spoon-fed to you, unless you're working on a really, excuse my language, shitty script. If you're working on a shitty script and the writer didn't do a good job, then you might not have those things and you might have to figure it out. But for the most part, a writer, when they're writing a script, they know these things. And part of being an actor is understanding the writer's perspective, the director's perspective. So when we're asking ourselves all of these questions about character work, we're aligning a lot with the writer's perspective. And we're almost working hand in hand to see, okay, let me see the material that you gave me, and now let me bring it to life. You will always have an obstacle in your scene, and you will always have an objective in your scene. So be aware of it, look for it, find it, pinpoint it, find your actions, execute. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes, please ask.
You said you'd be able to provide these slides to us?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What is the easiest way for you to share them?
If you guys want, you can email me. Let's do that. You can email me. I'll put my email here in the notes if you guys just want to grab it real quick. Ooh, that's crazy stuff. Let's see. All right. That right there is my email, you guys. So if you guys want this information, or if you guys have any questions about anything, or like I said, you guys need help on an audition, you guys need help breaking down a scene, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you guys with all of this. And you can reach me at this email.
Thank you.
Of course. I'm going to leave it up for 1 minute so everyone has a second to just write it down.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually has my hand raised because I had actually sent a request for you to send it to me. I'm actually on my phone, so I'm not really able to see everything that everybody's reading, but I am hearing. So could you repeat your email and I can write it down right quick?
Yeah, it's mariakarolinafilm@gmail.com.
MariaKarolinaFilm@gmail.com. I'm sorry. KARO
LINA film@gmail.com. mariakarolinafilm@gmail.com. That's my acting contact.
gmail.com. Well, thank you so much, Maria.
Absolutely.
Was the one who sent you the question.
Does anyone else have any questions on these like 7 things or just anything in regards to basically what we just went over?
That
One
was stupid.
question, when you are going for like an
Okay.
audition, could
Mhm.
could I go ahead?
Yes, Janet, go ahead.
Yeah, when you're going like for an audition and you're not really sure what it is, like you're going to be getting a cold script to read, are you expected to really do all these things, just like reading it?
Honestly, my honest response to that is if you do not have a lot of acting experience, and when I say a lot of acting experience, I mean you've done at least 25 scenes and like long scenes, like actual scenes, then yeah, you should ask yourself all these questions every single time. Because if you haven't reached that point where you've already done 25 full scenes, then that means you're still in the beginning stage, and that's totally fine. That's totally okay. But it's important that while we're in this while we're building the foundations, that we build them right and that we like build them specifically. Because you ask yourself all these questions and you do all this super annoying, detailed, meticulous, tedious work in the beginning until it becomes second nature, almost like muscle memory. And then eventually you'll reach a point where no, you don't have to ask yourself these questions because you read the script and you already have them answered. You know, like when I first started acting and when I was in school learning, I would spend weeks on scripts, breaking them down, highlighting, figuring everything out, breaking it down to the point that it was annoying. And honestly, sometimes I even over rehearsed it. But now, like for example, for this film that I'm working on, I didn't even look at my scenes until the night before, or even maybe the day of. And I look at it, I read it, and I was like, yep, let's see. And another important thing, whenever you're looking at a scene, to make it interesting, you want to start the scene differently than how you end it. That's going to be the most important part whenever you're acting. So whenever you have an audition like that, if it's something super last minute and you don't have time to ask yourself all these questions, because yes, sometimes that happens, then just make a strong choice. Because making a strong choice is better than no choice at all. So you get a scene. The first thing I ask myself is, all right, let me read it. How am I starting the scene? I'm starting the scene pretty happy. How am I ending the scene? I'm ending the scene sad. Right there, you already have 2 levels. The scene is already interesting. It already has a peak and a valley. And then you can play in the middle and add different things that you want. So if you have something really last minute and you're in a crunch and you're like, damn, I don't have time, but I got to give an interesting performance, make a choice. How are you going to start the scene? How are you going to end it? How are you going to get there?
Thank you.
Of course.
This answered my questions. Thanks a lot.
Huh?
Hello?
Yes?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Diane. What's your question?
I'm sorry. This is Diane. Thank you. No, I just wanted to make sure you could hear me now because I've been struggling with my iPad and my computer.
Listen, girl, sometimes that happens. Trust me, I've had a lot of issues with Zoom and all that, so I understand. But does anyone else have any other questions in regard to what we just talked about?
I do.
Ask. What's up?
Okay. So how is it that, like you go into an audition and you've attempted to memorize your lines, but say, I don't know, you struggle to remember everything, especially when you're new and you haven't acted with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what is good?
I would say when it comes to okay, so whenever you're sending a first audition or you're going to a first audition, I wouldn't really worry about memorizing everything perfectly. Why? Because these people aren't paying you to do the job yet, so don't do the whole job for them. Unless it's a role that you really love and you want to impress them, yeah, sometimes I'll memorize the script. But for the most part, don't feel bad if you're not memorized on the first round of auditions. Because on the first round, it's okay. Sometimes they half of the time they'll give you the audition maybe a week's tops before the actual audition. So they don't even expect you to really even be memorized. But for the callback, if you get to a callback and stuff like that, they will expect you to be memorized for that. And when it comes to like tips for,
maybe because of
let me, how do I
high.
let me mute people. All right. But some tricks to memorize is if you don't have like a lot of like people to work with your scene on, a lot of people to help you memorize, what I like to do is I'll just record the other person's line on my phone and I'll just say their line, leave time for me to say mine, say their line, and then I'll just play back the recording. And then like I don't have an actual scene partner, but I have a recording of all the other person's lines. And I time it, so I have like time to say my lines in between.
Okay. And then at the beginning, you said something about beats, and then there was a couple other terms you used.
Yeah. For beats, we didn't really have too much time to go into that. We don't have an hour, unfortunately, but I'll briefly touch over them. So beats are basically shifts in the scene. So in every scene, you will typically have like maybe 3 or 4 beats. Sometimes you may have less, but it's because like if a scene is the same thing throughout the whole thing, it gets really boring. So what writers do is that they add peaks and valleys throughout the whole thing, shifts in the scenes to make it a little different. And that's what's considered a beat. Like, let's say we're starting a scene and we're at a coffee shop and we're talking about my mom. We're talking about my mom. And then my mom walks in. That right there is a beat. The scene shifted. Someone walked in. Beats are basically a change in like topic. Something happened. I'll go over it more in depth probably in the next class because we didn't have too much time. But yeah, beats are basically just stuff that happens throughout the scene that changes where it's going. You know, whether someone walks into the room, someone gave new information that now changes the conversation. It's just shifts in the scene.
And what were the other 2 terms you used?
Oh, honey, I talk so much.
We went over objectives, so actions would be the one that you haven't addressed.
That's because I went over actions in our last class. And the way that I typically teach my classes is I have them chronologically. So the first class was actions. This class is scene study 1. Next class will likely be scene study 2, unless I feel like we should do a little review on actions and everything. And in which case we'll play it by ear. And next class will be a little bit of a review. But let me see the words that I use. I said objective, we went over that. Super objective, we went over that. Beats, we briefly went over that. Beats, I don't want to go over until I have because that's a whole separate class. I want to have a script for you guys to read, similar like how we did in the beginning of class. And then I want to have you guys visually see the beats themselves and we're going to mark them out so they're clear.
Yeah, I was just wanting a general description of the terms that you used.
Yeah, so beats are shifts in the scene, changes in the scene.
Right.
And actions are things that we do in order to get what we want from another person. So every line has a motivation behind it, something that drives it. And that's the action. So let's say that, let me just say a random line, like, oh, hey, you know, I really, really like that shirt on you. I think it looks great. And I don't know, maybe we should go out sometime. What's my action there? To seduce. I'm trying to seduce someone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically an action. An action is just what you're doing. It's the verb that you're doing in it. To seduce, to intimidate, to threaten, to convince, to terrify, to, you know, everything that we say, we're trying to do something to the other person. And that's the thing about acting is it's never about us. It's about what we're trying to do to the other person, what reaction we're trying to get out of them. We're trying to do something for our scene partner. It's never about ourselves. People don't want to see that. That's boring. People want to see you react to someone else. And what makes a scene good is if you have a good scene partner that does the same for you and you guys just bah, 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 bah. And that's what magic is.
And magic was the third.
Magic was the third. What was that with all the terms? Or is there one that you want me to go over?
No, I don't know that you said magic before you were really talking about it.
I did it. That was just, magic is not a term. I was just
okay.
saying, yeah. Like when you have a good scene partner and you guys get to bounce off each other, that's what makes like the movie magic, you know, that's what makes a scene good and exciting and all the sparkles. But do you guys in the last 5 minutes of class, does anyone have any other questions? And it can be totally unrelated to what we went over right now. I just want to leave 5 minutes open-ended for you guys to ask any questions regarding the industry, acting, auditions, self-tapes, anything under the sun. Jose, you have a question?
Yeah.
Who?
I did not participate in your first class on actions. Do you have that on a PowerPoint that I could possibly get?
I'm thinking I might just do a review on that. I think what I'm gonna do is, because I'm starting to see like there's a lot of new faces, and from what I was told from my boss here at 9-9, I got a lot of good reviews from the last class. So my classes are most likely gonna get bigger within the next few weeks. They're gonna send more students my way. So what I think I'm gonna do is, for the next class, we're gonna do half and half. Half of the class, I'm gonna go over actions, beats, and then the other half is gonna be putting it into practice, into the scene. Does that sound good with everyone?
That's cool. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Fabulous, great. Does anyone else have any other questions?
You
Oh,
were going to talk about scene study.
Huh?
You were going to talk about scene study.
We are talking about scene study. Scene study is studying scenes, learning about beats, objectives, super objectives, breaking it down. Everything we're going over is scene study.
I missed most of it.
It's okay. You can always come to the next class, and I'm more than happy to go over stuff. And if you need any specific help, any one-on-ones, you can always reach out to me via email, and I'm more than happy to help you. But all right, y'all, I'm being called to set, and they need to start lighting me, and I have to get into wardrobe. So it was amazing seeing all you guys. And honestly, I'm gonna take you guys inside the set just to give you a little glimpse into it. And hopefully I don't get in trouble. I'm just gonna show you guys. Here's our producer, Izzy. You wanna say hi?
Hi guys.
Hello.
She's a phenomenal.
Hi.
Thank you, Izzy.
Have a good weekend.
Bye. Oh, it's really dark in here. You guys wouldn't be able to see anything anyway. But have a great weekend, guys. I'm gonna go.
Enjoy your weekend and
Thank you,
thanks for this
Maria.
class.
Of course, anytime.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Loved the class.
Good. I'm glad.
Bye.